This evening, first up, Ghana's digital future begins now. The government launches the first phase of its new electronic national ID cards. Public servants are the first to register, but critics warn that the system is rolling out without key legal safeguards. Plus, more eyes on the road in Region 3. New automated speed cameras and radar signs go live across the Essequibo Islands West Demerara corridor. Officials say the goal is safety, not revenue, as enforcement wraps up for the holiday season. Also, holiday shopping alert. The Competition and Consumer Affairs Commission urges consumers to stay sharp this Christmas. Know your rights, demand receipts, and be wary of illegal no refund signs as complaints pass $400 million mark. Meanwhile, big changes may be coming to Bourda Market. Government officials meet with frustrated vendors and outline plans for drainage upgrades, sanitation fixes, and safer facilities, while promising to preserve the historic character of the market. And regionally, military tensions rise in the Caribbean. U.S. President Donald Trump deploys more than 10 warships, including USS Gerald R. Ford, as Washington signals a tougher posture in the region. Those stories and more coming up on Headline News Update. Stay with us. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for December 2nd, 2025. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, the government has officially launched the first phase of its Electronic National Digital Identity Card (EID) program, beginning with public sector workers as Ghana moves toward a modernized national identification system. Staff of the Ministry of Home Affairs were among the first to be registered this week, marking the first step in a nationwide rollout. Employees are required to present valid identification, proof of address, and civil status documents during registration. The EID system stems from a US $35 million agreement signed in 2023 with German firm Veridos Identity Solutions, facilitated by the United Arab Emirates. President Dr. Mohamed Irfanali, who became the first recipient of the digital ID earlier this year, has said regional offices will be established to accelerate distribution. According to Minister of Home Affairs Onit Waldron, the system will enhance broader security by helping authorities verify identities and monitor migrants entering the country through its porous borders. Non-citizens will be issued an EID resident card valid only for the duration of their approved stay. Without this card, you will not be able to access any services, the minister stressed. However, the opposition APNU has criticized the rollout, noting that the Digital Identity Card Act and Data Protection Act intended to govern the system have not been operationalized. APNU Member of Parliament Sherrod Duncan warned that Ghana is creating a single spine of traceable identity without the legal safeguards needed to protect citizens' data and privacy. Government officials, however, maintain that the EID cards will meet international security standards and will streamline access to public services, banking, and healthcare once the program expands to the wider population. In other news, the government of Guyana has extended its road safety measures in Region 3, Essequibo Islands, West Demerara, by activating additional automated speed cameras and radar speed signs, completing coverage across the region under the Safe Road Intelligence System, SRIS. Jointly managed by the National Data Management Authority and the Ghana Police Force, the initiative aims to curb reckless driving and reduce accidents along one of the country's busiest traffic corridors. The expansion adds high-definition cameras and radar signs at strategic locations. Including major intersections, high-traffic routes, and accident-prone areas. The system operates on a secure cloud-based platform that automatically detects speeding violations and issues tickets. Registered motorists receive notification via SMS or email, while physical tickets are mailed to those without digital contact information. President Dr. Mohamed Irfanali stressed that the SRIS is focused on road safety, not revenue generation. He said the system is designed to make our roads safer, smarter, and more secure for all Guyanese, highlighting the government's commitment to technology-driven traffic management. Motorists are urged to observe posted speed limits, note the newly installed radar signs, and drive cautiously. Outstanding tickets can be checked online. Failure to pay may result in court proceedings, with non-compliance potentially leading to arrest warrants and further legal penalties. The SRIS expansion underscores the government's dedication to combining automation and transparency to reduce collision, save lives, and promote responsible driving across Guyana. On a different note, with the Christmas season underway, the Competition and Consumer Affairs Commission is reminding Guyanese consumers to be vigilant, informed, and assertive while shopping. In a press release on Monday, the Commission emphasized that the Consumer Affairs Act protects consumers' rights and sets clear obligations for suppliers. The Competition and Consumer Affairs Commission advised shoppers to plan ahead by creating lists, researching products, comparing prices, and carefully reviewing contracts before signing. Consumers are urged to demand receipts for all purchases, inspect items before leaving the store, and request written warranties of at least 6 months. Under the law, non-defective goods may be returned within 7 days, provided they remain unused, unopened, and in original packaging, with suppliers permitted to charge a restocking fee of up to 10%. Businesses are also cautioned against displaying no refund signs or refusing refunds, returns, or exchanges when legally required, as such practices violates the Act. The Competition and Consumer Affairs Commission highlighted that from January to November of 2025, it received 461 complaints valued at close to $500 million, with over $330 million already resolved and the remainder under investigation. Consumers seeking guidance or wishing to file complaints can contact the Competition and Consumer Affairs Commission. The Commission stressed that adherence to the law by both shoppers and suppliers can reduce disputes and ensure a safer, fairer holiday shopping experience. Stick around when we return. First Lady partners with utility companies to expand employment for persons with disabilities, and government plans major upgrades for cleaner, safer Bourda Market.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, and we're celebrating with big savings on smartphones, starting as low as $16,500 for the Samsung A06 and $26,500 for the Samsung A16 and $40,500 for the A26. But wait, there's more. Get 1 month free data with your new phone to keep you close to loved ones near and far. Offer available while stocks last. Visit a Digicel store today and unwrap the gift of real connections. Digicel.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Check us out at Decor and Gift Gallery this Christmas holiday for all your shopping needs. We are located at 47 Craig and Sheriff Street, Campbellville, Georgetown.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road, Bourda, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lenders Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
From Charles Chocolates, Ping pong, everybody wants some. Roasted peanuts is the true number one. Ping pong, you better get a handful. This chocolate is so incredible. What's the snack everybody craves for? Ping pong, bongs into flavor. Chocolate coated peanuts, delicious top class A plus. Ping pong, from Charles Chocolates, bongs into flavor.
The government is exploring significant upgrades to the historic Bourda Market, aiming to create a cleaner, safer, and more comfortable space for both vendors and shoppers. Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, Priya Manichan, visited the Bourda Market and Bourda Grain section last Wednesday, where she held direct discussions with vendors who raised long-standing concerns about deteriorating infrastructure and insufficient oversight from the Mayor and City Council. Among the major issues highlighted were poor drainage, inadequate sanitation, malfunctioning washroom facilities, leaking roofs, and what vendors describe as slow or inattentive response from city officials. Minister Manichan agreed that the current conditions are unacceptable.
There has to be some improvements. How we do that is what we got to look at. How do we build over a market and not disrupt your work and your sales? Because a market to build over will take a while. So that's something, those are some of the considerations we have to have now. All right? But it's going to be good, it's going to be modern, it's going to be new, it's going to keep you right here, and it's going to keep the feel of Bourda.
She emphasized that the planned improvement aligns with President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali's broader development vision, which includes ensuring that national progress is felt at every level of society, not only through major infrastructure projects, but also through enhancements to everyday public spaces such as markets.
President Ali has been very clear that in the build out of this new Guyana with our new resources, it will not only be about high rises and bridges and roads and good infrastructure. It's going to be every citizen feeling like they have a stake and like their life has gotten better, whether a market vendor or a market shopper.
As assessment continue, Minister Manichan assured that the final plan will maintain the traditional character of Bourda Market while introducing modern facilities. She acknowledged the challenge of executing major upgrades without disrupting vendors' daily livelihoods, but said this remains a priority in the planning process.
The idea is to actually rebuild an entirely new market. The question becomes, how do I not disrupt their livelihood and earning while I do that? Yes. So it might actually be on a different spot. I'm just trying to figure out how that's to begin very soon, not long from now.
The ministry is expected to announce the next steps once its review is completed. Moving on, First Lady Arya Ali has forged a groundbreaking partnership with significant utility and service providers to expand employment opportunities and improve access to essential services for persons with disabilities at the Center for Equity, Opportunity and Innovation in Palmyra, Region 6. Launched in June 2025, the center already employs 90 persons. It will now host service kiosks from Ghana Power and Light, Ghana Water Incorporated, ENET, One Communications, MMG, MoneyGram, and Western Union. Each company has committed to hiring at least one person with a disability to manage their kiosks, with complete services expected to be operational by January 2026. The initiative is part of the First Lady's 4-year Inclusability Program, which advocates for greater private sector inclusion of persons with disabilities. Mrs. Ali said, for years, we have been urging corporate Guyana to make inclusion a lived reality. This partnership shows what is possible when we work together for the good of our people. Minister of Finance Dr. Ashni Singh lauded the collaboration as a demonstration of economic empowerment at the community level. The partnership signals a significant advancement in Guyana's efforts to foster inclusive employment, improve service accessibility, and promote meaningful public-private collaboration. Don't go away after the break. U.S. strikes on alleged drug boats in the Caribbean face mounting legal scrutiny, and U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff heads to Moscow to push Ukraine war ceasefire talks with Putin.
This Christmas runs on real connections with Digicel. The calls, the laughter, the joy, and the chance to pick and win big. We're giving away $12 million. Yes, every week, one lucky Digicel customer gets a chance to win up to $2 million. 6 lucky winners in total. Here's how you get in. Top up with $1,000 or more, or pay your fiber or postpaid bill in full. The more you top up, the more chances you get. Stay connected this Christmas for your chance to win big. Digicel.
Ping pong from Charles Chocolates. Ping pong, everybody wants some. Roasted peanuts is the true #1. Ping pong, you better get a handful. This chocolate is so incredible. What's the snack everybody craves for? Ping pong bongs into flavor. Chocolate coated peanuts. Delicious top class A+. Ping pong from Charles Chocolates. Bongs into flavor.
Check us out at Decor and Gift Gallery this Christmas holiday for all your shopping needs. We are located at 47 Craig and Sheriff Street, Campbellville, Georgetown.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road, Bourda, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services. 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world.
Good evening, I'm Dominic Gittins. Tonight, Caribbean remittances are set to rise sharply in 2025, led by the Dominican Republic and Haiti. President Trump expands a major military buildup in the region. The U.S. confirms a second deadly strike at sea, and America's envoy heads to Moscow for new Ukraine talks. We begin with the Caribbean economy. A new Inter-American Development Bank report projects Caribbean remittance will grow 9.2% to $20.9 billion in 2025. The Dominican Republic leads inflow with $11.9 billion, followed by Haiti at $4.9 billion. The US remains the top source. While most countries see gains, Haiti remittance share of GDP is expected to decline. President Donald Trump is backing his threats with a large-scale military buildup in the Caribbean. More than 10 warships, including the world's largest aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford, have been conducting drills. Al Jazeera Haidizu Castro reports.
When will the American military arrive, and how many are coming? Those are questions being asked on the streets of the Dominican Republic after a military deal with the U.S. was announced last week with few details. What's known is that parts of the Las Americas airport and the San Isidro Dominican Air Force Base will be used by U.S. forces for refueling and military staging until April. The reason given by Dominican President Luis Abinader to strengthen shared operations with the U.S. targeting drug traffickers.
If that's what our president decided, I'm for it, if it's truly for that cause.
But Belkis Mendoza says if the deal is intended to turn the Dominican Republic into a launching pad for a U.S. invasion of Venezuela across the ocean, then it should be called off.
We just visited the Dominican Air Base, which is a few blocks behind me, to ask questions about this military agreement with the U.S. But we were barred from filming and then escorted off base by a soldier on a motorbike. The lack of transparency concerning Dominicans.
Nosotros nos hacemos la misma pregunta.
We're all asking the same question. What's our country getting in return? I think the Dominican Republic has a lot to lose. We're giving up our sovereignty.
Former legislator Jose Horacio Rodriguez says without approval from the National Senate, the agreement is unconstitutional.
The U.S. hasn't treated the Dominican Republic well in any way. It's eliminated health and humanitarian aid and imposed tariffs. To see the Dominican government now cave into the U.S. has to hurt any Dominican who loves their country.
Hugo Sanchez and his wife are Venezuelan journalists living in Santo Domingo after fleeing the Maduro government. He says he doesn't want to see his new island home dragged into a fight with Venezuela.
There should be more negotiation, not military action at this point. Only if that drags on too long and Venezuela continues to send drugs to other countries, then I think it will be time for military action.
He says for now, he wishes the U.S., Caribbean nations, and all of Latin America would speak with one voice to use diplomacy to pressure Maduro to leave. Heidi Jo Castro, Al Jazeera, Santo Domingo, the Dominican Republic.
The White House has confirmed the U.S. forces conducted a second strike on a vessel in the Caribbean in September, which killed survivors of the initial attack. Al Jazeera's John Hendren reports.
As the U.S. Navy continues to blow alleged drug trafficking boats out of the waters off South America, killing those inside, the tactic now faces growing scrutiny. Many military legal experts, like retired Lieutenant Colonel Rachel Van Landingham, insist the strikes ordered by President Donald Trump are illegal.
The Trump administration has decided to be judge, jury, and executioner, and on their own claim that these individuals are carrying drugs, ordering them killed, which is extrajudicial killing, which is murder.
Members of the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives have launched inquiries into a reported second strike on one boat on September 2nd that killed survivors of an initial attack. The Washington Post reports that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ordered that everyone on board be killed. The president says that wouldn't have been his plan.
We'll look into it, but no, I wouldn't have wanted that, not a second strike.
The Pentagon now confirms that an admiral did order that second strike, but isn't saying whether that was on Hegseth's orders. The U.S. Attorney General insists the strikes are legal.
They are narco-terrorists. What you're showing on the screen right now are terrorists, and they are being blown up.
Critics in Congress are calling them something else entirely.
This rises to the level of a war crime if it's true. And the questions that we've been asking for months are, give us the evidence that the folks on board were really narco-traffickers.
Others call the strikes criminal but not crimes of war because, they say, Trump's declaration of hostilities against drug traffickers isn't, legally speaking, a war at all.
Those strikes could put military leaders in legal peril. Under military law, sailors on ships like this and troops at all levels are required to disobey an unlawful order. Legal experts say that law was created for situations just like this. And that second strike, the experts say, that could have serious consequences.
Legal scholars say military law specifically forbids attacking shipwrecked survivors.
That second strike against individuals who were shipwrecked, clinging desperately to the side of their boat wreckage, that's a war crime. It's a war crime because those individuals who are shipwrecked have protected status under the law of war.
As those strikes continue, she says, the president has one controversial option. He could protect those who carried out the strikes, at least under U.S. law, with pardons for all involved. John Hendren, Al Jazeera, San Pedro, California.
U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff is to arrive in Moscow for a meeting with Vladimir Putin. The main topic is the U.S. plan to resolve the military conflict in Ukraine, which has undergone serious changes in a little over a week. Al Jazeera Yulia Shapovalova reports.
This past week has seen stepped-up efforts to end the war in Ukraine. Senior U.S. officials met with a Ukrainian delegation in Miami on Sunday, and they are expected to meet President Vladimir Putin in Moscow on Tuesday. The U.S. representatives, led by Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, are reportedly ready to try and soften Putin's position on a ceasefire without preconditions, which Europe and Kiev insist on, but Moscow categorically rejects.
The troops of Ukraine should leave the territories they occupy. That's when the hostilities will stop. If they don't leave, we will achieve our goals by force.
Russia insists Ukraine must not be allowed to join NATO, a demand Ukrainian officials refuse to accept.
Russia's demands haven't changed in the course of almost 4 years of the conflict, meaning that Russia will not make any significant concessions. Russia demands neutral status for Ukraine, non-accession to NATO, and protection of the Russian language and Russian-speaking population in Ukraine. Kyiv has limited resources, so it has no choice but to agree.
Despite the deadlock, all the participants agree that the diplomatic process is still a positive step and the work should continue.
Steve Witkoff's previous meeting with Vladimir Putin took place in the Kremlin back in August, and many were hopeful that it would become a step forward in ending the hostilities. But the fighting goes on. Now there's renewed interest in ensuring that these diplomatic efforts are successful. Yulia Shapovalova, Al Jazeera, Moscow.
Thanks, Dominique. This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's it, TV2 Headline News for this Tuesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast on 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other.